let's do the fifth domain as well. Okay, and now yeah, this is an important domain in terms of because most of the practice that happens with the CISA certification that happens with information security in perspective. Okay, because information, when we say information security, we say CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Okay, now so we are considering all the three areas in this particular domain. Okay, so now this, as I said, this domain focuses on CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Now, confidentiality is about protecting assets from unauthorized access. Integrity is about protecting the asset from unauthorized modification, and availability is about giving access to the authorized person. Okay, so the design, implementation, monitoring of logical and physical access controls are explained in this domain. Okay, now logical access control is our access control in terms of system access, database access, okay, in terms of application or software access. Okay, whereas physical access is about entering a parameter, security parameters, or entering an area. Okay, so both of them are explained here. Then network infrastructure security, okay, in terms of firewall, IDS, IPS, okay, those are discussed here. Environmental controls. Environmental controls is about fire extinguisher. Okay, it's about your HVAC system. It's about your water detection systems. So all those controls which protect from environmental threats like earthquake, flood, rain, etc. Okay, all those will be discussed here. Now, so it depends also, the environmental controls also depends on what kind of environment it is. For example, if you are in a nuclear facility, so environmental controls would be different. If you are in a normal office, the environmental controls would be different. Environmental controls in terms of data centers are different. Okay, so all these are considered here. Okay, we'll talk about them. And the processes and procedures used to classify, enter, store, retrieve, transport, and dispose of confidential information. Now it is very important, okay, in terms to classify the information. So information classification is very important, and also handling the information. So in terms of enter, store, retrieve, transport, and dispose of, all these are how we handle the information assets. If you don't classify the assets, you would not know what to protect and how to protect, how much to protect. Okay, for example, if it's a secret data, okay, you would know that it requires a better security. If it's a public data, you might not require any security. If it's a internal use, or if it's a confidential information, you provide controls depending on the classification. So classification is one of the most important aspect of information. Okay, why do we classify? Because we would know how to protect it, how much to protect it. Okay, so classification is very important. Now, handling of assets based on the classification. So you will enter, store, retrieve, transport, and dispose of based on the classification. So all this process would be discussed, okay, in terms of handling of the assets. Then the methods and procedures followed by the organizations are described, focusing on the auditor's role in evaluating these procedures for suitability and effectiveness. Okay, so in terms of management of information security, that would be discussed. Now, many organizations, adopt a standard, adopt, some best practices to basically manage information security across the organization. Okay, and it is very important to have certain methods and procedures in place to make it more suitable for the organization, okay, and effective. Okay, and what is the auditor's role is? Auditor's role is to evaluate the suitability and effectiveness of the information security. Okay, now again, you have to remember that organizations have limited resources. Okay, they cannot protect every asset. Okay, so they have to make choice between what to protect and how much to protect. Okay, and that's the reason we also do information security risk assessments. Okay, to know what are the threats, what are the vulnerabilities, what would be the impact if the threat meets the vulnerability, if the thief meets the weakness in the lock of your house. The thief is a threat, theft is a threat, weakness is that you have a weak lock at your house. Okay, if the thief meets that weak lock, he exploits it. Okay, it would give you an impact in terms of loss to your property. Okay, and you will see the loss, and you would evaluate that loss, whether the loss is acceptable to you or not. Okay, so that's, even the organizations do the same. Okay, you have the threat in terms of viruses, for example. You would see what are the weakness in my system. I don't do patches, I don't follow change management, etc., etc. Okay, the virus attacks, or the hacker attacks you with the virus. Okay, and it gives you an impact to the organization. It steals your data, it takes your confidential information, takes your customer data, etc. You end up having a legal impact, you end up having a reputational impact to your organization. And is it acceptable to you? Your management has to decide that, is this risk acceptable to me? And if not, mitigate that risk. How do you mitigate? You have proper patch management, you have proper change management process, etc., etc., to ensure you have proper security in place. Okay, so the auditor will evaluate whether you have considered proper threats, whether you have considered the vulnerabilities, whether your processes are in place, okay, in terms of risk assessment, in terms of policy, in terms of patch management, change management, etc. Okay, generally auditors use some kind of checklist to basically evaluate your procedures, methods and procedures followed by the organization. The checklist could come from various standards, checklist could come from best practices, okay, etc. Now this domain is also important, so this has always remained important. Okay, this is 27% of the whole CISA. Okay, and this has always remained important from the beginning till now. It has been important. Now, what are the objectives of this domain, guys? So you have to see that how to conduct the audit in accordance with the standards. And so as I said, auditors use a standard, auditor use a criteria or a checklist to basically conduct audits. Okay, now auditor would not remember all the controls, so they would use some kind of checklist. For example, if a pilot flies a plane, he uses a checklist to basically see all the things are right. Similarly, auditor would also use a checklist to see, okay, the patch management is right, change management is fine, malware protection is fine, backup is fine, something like that. It's kind of checklist. So if you see, it will audit you in accordance with the IS audit standard. Now, IS audit standard is basically your ITAF. Okay, it's not the ISO 27001 standard. It is ITAF. So you will have to, the auditor will follow ITAF. Okay, and a risk-based audit strategy based on the risk to the organization. So again, risk-based audit strategy, what we discussed in the domain 1. Okay, risk-based audit strategy is looking at the higher risk areas first and then going down to the less important areas. Then evaluate the problem and incident management policies and practices. So we discussed problem and incident management earlier. Problem is about underlying thing that gives you incidents, that helps the incidents to occur. Okay, so we'll evaluate that. Then evaluate the organization information security and privacy policies. So what is policies? Policies is high level intent. Okay, so they would evaluate whether the intent of the organization is right or wrong. Okay, right or wrong mean in the sense that whether the organization has the intent to protect the information. Okay, whether the organization, for example, it's an organization like for example, it's an NGO or NGOs are also organizations. So it's a very small business. Okay, now organization may not want to have information security practices in place, so the intention is not there. So you would see that whether the organization has the intent to protect security and privacy, and also practices, whether they follow those practices which are defined by the organization's intent. Okay, so policies are the first line of defense, and then you have, based on the policy, you draft the practices. So you evaluate both of them. Then evaluate physical environmental controls to determine whether information assets are adequately safeguarded. Okay, then evaluate logical security controls to verify CIA. Evaluate data classification practices. Okay, has the organization defined information classification scheme? Are these scheme aligned to the business? Okay, so what you consider secret, what you consider confidential and okay internal use, so that has to be aligned to the organization's policies. Okay, what is the organization? For example, Organization deals with customer PII information, privacy information. Now the organization has to decide whether the PII information has to be confidential or whether it has to be secret. Okay. Now it would depend on kind of regulations the organization has. So for example, they have GDPR. Okay. Now they cannot, if the GDPR is there, so they cannot call the PII information as internal use. Okay. If they are GDPR compliant, they have to be at least confidential or it has to be secret. Okay, so it depends on the organization's policies and applicable external requirements. Okay, so you have the classification based on certain requirements. Okay, for example, you have a contractual obligation to protect customer information. Okay, so you will not consider customer information in Nokia internal use. If it's internal use, then it is across the organization. Anyone can use that customer information. Okay, now if you have a contractual obligation to protect the customer information, then you would keep it confidential or secret. Okay, so it all depends on the policies and external requirements. Then evaluate the policies and practices related to asset lifecycle management. Now handling of assets. What could be the assets? It could be hardware assets, software assets, service assets, information assets, both in digital and paper format. Okay, and what more? Okay, hardware, software, information in terms of digital and physical. Okay, and it could be network equipments. Okay, now network equipments you can consider either in hardware assets or you can have a separate kind of category of assets. So life cycle management of the assets. Okay, in terms of policies and practices, how do you manage that? Then evaluate the information security program. Okay, so information security program is about all the information related projects, information security related projects in the organization. It could be vulnerability assessment, it could be source code evaluation, it could be compliance. Okay, it could be forensics, it could be IT security or data security, in terms of network security. Okay, so all those projects in the organization which relates to the information security objective of the organization is called information security program. So as you know, the definition of a program is the set of multiple projects leading to same objective. Okay, so that is basically program. So you would evaluate the information security program to determine its effectiveness and alignment with the organization strategies and objectives. So program is about aligning it to, if multiple projects aligning to the same information security objectives, organization strategies. Now obviously information security objectives should be aligned to the business objectives or the organization objectives, so that the organization functions in a organization gets the value out of the information security. Okay, the organization's objectives, information security can support the organization objectives. Then perform technical security testing to identify potential threats and vulnerabilities. This is about VAPT, okay, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Then evaluate the potential opportunities and threats associated with emerging technologies, regulations, and industry practices. So when you go for new opportunities, when you go for example, blockchain, AI, you go for automation, big data, or you go for cloud, okay, so all this would require, certain level of deliberation in terms of information security. For example, cloud, if you're using cloud, then you would be in terms of availability, confidentiality, integrity of data, you have to have a deliberate thinking in terms of how would you protect assets, how is the cloud provider protecting your information, your customers' PI information, etc. Okay, and there are certain regulations also which are linked to it. So you have to evaluate that. Okay, so these are the things, these are the areas. Now this is not an exhaustive list of things which the auditor would check. Okay, so this is just kind of areas which CISA has defined for the auditors to evaluate, but there are many other areas. For example, I can talk about third party in the outsourcing. There is a lot of information security aspects to outsourcing, third party security or supply chain security. So I think there would be a full list of areas in the manual. Okay, so if you go to the domain 5 and you see the references, you'll find more areas that the auditor can evaluate. Okay, so the topics here would be linked to a good standard. Okay, for example, it will talk about information security. It will talk about introduction. Okay, in terms of security and controls. Okay, we'll talk about security framework, standards and guidelines. We'll talk about privacy principles. We'll talk about physical access and environmental controls, identity and access management. Okay, network and endpoint security, data classification. Also very important. Okay, a lot of confusing questions comes from data encryptions and encryption related techniques. You have PKI, web-based communication technologies, virtualized environments, IoT, mobile wireless internet of things. So these are all opportunities or new areas, and what could be the security aspects of these areas. Okay, in terms of mobile wireless, IoTs. Okay, then security and event management. This is about your SOC, security operations center. Okay, in terms of security awareness training and programs, so very important. Okay, from the end user perspective, many organizations, they have security awareness programs, or in terms of mandatory training, if you're going to a project which requires security aspects to be known by the end users, by the employees, etc., you go through a training and then you are given the access. So security awareness training, very important. Okay, then information system attack methods and techniques. So in the security operations center, we generally analyze the attack methods and techniques of the hackers and try to protect ourselves. So you have red teams, blue teams who does that. Okay, in organizations you have security testing tools and techniques. So you have tools like Nessus, Wireshark, which is basically used to test your network. Okay, or test your network management. Okay, to see whether all the parameters are as per the best practices or as per the hardening guidelines. Okay, then you have security monitoring tools and techniques. So you have SIEM solutions, who does the security monitoring. Okay, SIEM is security incident and event management tools. So you have multiple vendors in the market for that. Then incident response management. Okay, how do you respond to the incident? Okay, in terms of reducing the impact and reducing the likelihood of occurrence. Okay, then evidence collection and forensics. Okay, this is an area after the incident happens. Okay, obviously incident response is something which is immediate. Okay, if an incident happens, you go to the incident response management quickly and see what could be the response to the incident, and then parallelly you do the evidence collection and forensics to investigate the incident and try to find out the reason behind or the culprit behind the incident sometimes. Okay, and then that's a learning curve for us also. Okay, so these are the areas we would discuss. Now again, I would say that these are not the complete areas. So being an information security, 7 years of experience in information security, I would say this is not even 50% of the areas in information security and control. There are more areas, and now CISA won't be asking you questions on other areas. They would be asking you questions on this area. So it's better to know these areas at least very well.